Happy Saturday and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be answering questions that you all asked me in regards to the UC application and life at UCLA in general. So we'll jump right in. I did post a video earlier asking for your questions, and this is what's on all of your guys' minds. So first question is, does spring term GPA matter a lot since UC offers come out before the spring term ends? Yes, the spring term does matter, so you should always try your best, of course. The decisions do come out before the spring term is over, so they don't know your GPA. But if once if you're accepted and then you submit your transcripts once you were completely done with community college and you bombed completely, there is a chance that your offer could be rescinded because you didn't maintain a good GPA and you aren't in good academic standing. So yes, it does matter. Can you talk about the differences between the housing options? If I got in, I feel like I don't know where I'd want to stay. Also the process for choosing a single room, thanks. So I'm not going to go into any detail about the different housing options. One, because I'm only familiar with the one that I lived in, but two, there's so many and you can find all of that information on the UCLA housing website, so definitely check it out. You can find way more detailed information on that website than I could ever dream of providing you, just simply because I never lived in any of those housing options. If you're interested in the housing option that I lived in, it's on my channel. I'll link the video here. In terms of the process for the single room, there is really no process. It's all a matter of luck and chance. I mean, when you apply for housing, you rank the options that you want to live in. So I just ranked every single option first, and I happened to get lucky. But once again, there's no guarantee that you're gonna get that sort of a housing offer. So yeah, it's just chance. It's probably not the answer that you want to hear, but it's the truth. Sorry. Do you think that UCLA is a safe place to study, feeling safe walking on the street at night on campus? This person has a few questions. That's the first one. I think that UCLA definitely feels very safe. I mean, that's not to say that there isn't crime and stuff that happens. You're gonna find that anywhere. But I mean, if you want to compare UCLA to Berkeley, for example, yeah, it's way safer and it just feels way safer, but that doesn't mean that you're you should put yourself in harm's way. Obviously don't walk by yourself at night on campus, especially if you're a woman. You never know what could happen. And we do get these little crime reports every once in a while. And yeah, sometimes there have been assaults on campus and stuff like that. And there's the UC police force, which, tries to minimize crime and stuff like that, but that's not to say it doesn't happen. But generally I feel pretty safe, especially on the Hill. There are always people out, so yeah. Second question, if I go to UCLA and do not have a car, is it inconvenient for me to live here? I've talked about this in other videos. No, because everything's in Westwood pretty much that you would need. Does that mean that there are things that you won't want? No, you could probably still want to go off campus. For me, it was very inconvenient to not have a car just because I've always had a car, so not having one was pretty annoying, but that's just me personally. Is there any off-campus housing option close enough to walk to UCLA? Yes, there is, but the cost of living in Westwood and the surrounding area close to UCLA is very expensive. I've also talked about this in my off-campus housing guide video, so please check those out. Yeah, I talked about that in a lot of detail that could probably help you out more than I can explain here because there are a lot of questions to get through. So we'll move on to the next one. I just want to say really quickly that there were kind of a lot of personal questions, not personal questions, but questions where people would explain their situation to me and then ask me what I think they should do, or ask me what their chances of getting into the school are. I'm not really going to be covering those questions in this video because I feel that's something that I can't even answer anyway. When it comes to what you want to do with your situation, that's really your decision and I can't tell you what to do. I don't know your whole situation. And then when it comes to your chances of getting into school, I don't know. I don't work for the housing committee, so sorry, or for the admissions committee. So yeah, sorry, that's probably not what you wanted to hear once again, but yeah, unfortunately those are things that I can't answer because I am just a student myself, so I hope you all can understand. Okay, this next question is interesting. I noticed that Google hires a whole lot of Stanford students. Is it worth paying $75,000 a year to go to Stanford as opposed to paying only a fraction of that to go to UCLA or Berkeley? I hear about cases where paying outrageous tuition doesn't increase job prospects for future income, only debt. I was hoping you can shed some light on this. I mean, honestly, once again, this is just personal. You could go to Stanford and completely fail. That doesn't mean you're gonna get a job just because you went to Stanford. Likewise, I go to UCLA. Just because I go to UCLA doesn't mean that anyone will want to hire me because because there's more to life than where you go to school. And especially when it comes to interviewing, you not only have to like know what you're talking about for the job that you're applying for, but also soft skills are really important, like being able to have a conversation and being personable and, you know, being cooperative and collaborative and willing to work in a team are really important. So honestly, I feel like it almost has nothing to do with where you go to school. And I mean, if you want to go to Stanford, by all means, go there, go wherever you want to go. But if you're like making your decision based solely on job prospects, I feel like that's not very wise personally, because there's no guarantee of anything in life. Is UCLA good for a business major? Yes, UCLA has a great business major and a great business school as well for graduate degrees. Someone said, how did you receive a physical letter of acceptance from UCSB in March if decisions are not scheduled for release until April? I've seen a few people get them early. I mean, once again, this like really doesn't have anything to do with me. Like UC Santa Barbara decided to send me the letter. Like they sent it when they sent it, and I just happened to get it before. I mean, I don't know. It like also keep in mind the decision dates kind of are flexible and variable, so they're not going to be the same exact day every year. They're going to be ballpark around the same time, but I mean, if they want to send them out, that's, you know, they're right. They're the school, so they can do whatever they want. How useful is it to how useful is it to state extracurricular activities on the UC app that you did in high school, even when you had leadership positions? I mean, you can do this if you want to, but honestly, as a transfer student, like the schools aren't really going to care what you did in high school, because that was then, this is now. Like you're not in high school anymore and you haven't been for a while. They're more interested in what you did in community college, so I would focus on that if I were you. A lot of people asked about extracurriculars. I mean, yeah, of course, extracurriculars can only help you, they can never hurt you. That's the bottom line. So I don't really feel like there's a lot of detail to go in there, but if you did extracurriculars, of course, include them on your application. If you're thinking about extracurriculars and you have the bandwidth to do extracurriculars, I would encourage you to do so. I mean, I never did them just because I had to work full-time when I was in community college, and obviously things worked out for me, but I mean, there's the thing that you guys need to understand, I feel like a lot of people don't understand this, is that like the UC application review process is holistic. Like they're not gonna just look at your GPA and be like, oh my god, this person doesn't have 4.0, like there's no way they can get into the school. Like there's a reason that you write the essays, there's a reason that you talk about your extracurriculars. Like they want to know the person that you are, not just like numbers on a piece of paper. The next question is, do you know about the Berkeley Summer Experience, or did you go to it? If so, how is it? Yeah, so I did go to Berkeley Summer Experience the summer before I applied, and honestly, I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. If you don't know what Berkeley Summer Experience is, basically it's just like this little like weekend immersion program on campus at UC Berkeley. You do have to apply and you do have to be accepted, and it's kind of limited as far as like how many people they can accept, because they do like provide you housing and food and stuff over the weekend while you're there, and it's completely free. That's the crazy thing about it. So I applied. I didn't think that I was gonna get accepted to it, but I applied to it anyway, and it's really cool. They basically show you around UC Berkeley. You get to meet other applicants. You get to work one-on-one with like admissions counselors. You get the opportunity to have them go over your essays as well, your PIQ essays, and it's really fun. Like, yeah, you just like attend a lot of workshops and stuff like that. You also get to like stay in the dorms overnight and eat the food, which was interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and you know, UC Berkeley was like my #1 school when I was applying, and that like really kind of solidified that decision for me, because it was really fun and enjoyable. The only thing that I didn't like was the dorms and the food, but mainly the dorms, because they were like really old. The buildings were really old, and there were no screens on the windows, and the streets were really loud, and then on top of that there was like a giant spider that got into my room, and I was like, it was the middle of the night and I was trying to kill this spider, and I woke up the person who I was sharing the room with, and like they were like, oh, do you need help? And I was like, I mean, I guess, yeah, if you want to kill it, because I didn't really want to kill it, but I like almost had it. And then like they tried to kill the spider, but they lost it, and then the spider was just lost in our room, and I literally could not sleep for the rest of the night. But that was just a little aside. But yeah, I mean, it's not really any different from UCLA, because there are no screens on the windows here as well. But you know, if you've seen my videos, you would know that I made a makeshift screen in my dorm room, because we were not having any repeats of that situation. And then the food at UC Berkeley also wasn't that good. I mean, the food at UCLA is like marginally better than the food at UC Berkeley, but I really did not like the food at UC Berkeley, and it didn't really seem that healthy, to be honest. Not that the food at UCLA is that much healthier, but I don't know, it wasn't that good. I'll just leave it at that. But I did really enjoy Berkeley Summer Experience, and I would definitely recommend applying if you're thinking about it. I think the applications are usually around like February, and then the actual program is in like June, so it was really fun. Someone said, do you know anything about the UCLA cheer team? I'm sorry, but I don't know anything about the UCLA cheer team. I'm not athletic at all. They also said, do you know anything about the athletic departments? Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know about that. I would try checking out like the UCLA athletic website, or like maybe getting in touch with someone else who actually is an athlete here at UCLA, a student athlete, but I am not. I'm sorry. What is the UCLA environment like? Is there any negative relationship between STEM and non-STEM majors on campus? I generally think that people are pretty happy to be. In terms of like the STEM versus non-STEM question, there is this whole like kind of North Campus versus South Campus major battle, if you will. Basically, North Campus has like all the humanities and social sciences and stuff, and South Campus has like all of the STEM majors. And people say that there's like this rivalry between North and South Campus majors. I personally don't feel it. I mean, I have friends who are in South Campus and I'm in North Campus, and I don't really care. But I'm not really one to like buy into the whole rivalry thing anyway. So maybe that's just me. But I think it's more of like a friendly competition. Like, people will make fun of you, but like it's totally harmless. It's totally a joke. Like, it's not like actually like, oh, you're a North Campus major, so you're stupid, like you don't know how to do math or something like that. People will say like, oh, South Campus majors like have a much harder course load, and I feel like that's subjective. Like, they might not be the same, but they could still be equally as demanding. I mean, just because, you know, I'm not solving quadratic equations or whatever, it doesn't mean I don't have a ton of reading and a ton of like problems to solve myself. Like, they're just different, you know what I mean? Someone's asking about changing majors. They already go to UCLA, I mean, if you want to change your major and you have the time and the bandwidth, try it out, I guess. I mean, that's really a question for your college counselor, because they can look at your specific, you know, courses that you've taken and tell you what your best course of action is. Someone asked me like how long the applied linguistics major is. It's pretty short. I think there are only actually like 10 courses required for the degree itself. That's not counting like prerequisite courses, but yeah, it's one of the shorter ones, especially for linguistics. How did you go about finishing your major and doing a minor in just 2 years? I didn't do a minor. I wanted to, but yeah, I didn't have time. Like, basically I didn't figure out what I wanted to minor in with enough time to actually complete it. So yeah, I didn't do a minor. I just worked on my major. Someone else is asking me about like foreign language requirements and something they did in high school. Once again, I would probably reach out to your college counselor if I were you, because they'll look at your exact sequence of courses that you've taken and see what you need left. You can always also, if you're like applying, can always call the school that you're applying to and talk to someone in the admissions department and see if they can advise you on the classes that you need left. Yeah, when it comes to like assessing your guys' personal situations, that's not really something that I'm comfortable doing, because I don't know you and I don't like know your transcript and like what you plan on doing and stuff like that. So I hope you guys can understand, like, it's not coming from like a place of I don't want to help you. It's just more like I don't want to give you the wrong information. And also, like, a lot of the stuff, yeah, I would just encourage you to take like a little more initiative and find out, you know, like for your own specific situation, like talk to a counselor, you know, and if you're not comfortable with the counselors at your community college, try reaching out to the school that you want to apply to, because they are more than happy to help you work through that sort of a thing. That concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to these answers, as well as this little change of scenery. I decided to switch things up, and hopefully there isn't like too much of a glare on these sunglasses, but yeah, if it is, I'm sorry. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next Saturday at 3 p.m. Bye.